Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, I can really, really hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, uh-huh.
Okay, good.
Absolutely.
It kind of sounds echoey. I hope that
A little
doesn't.
echoey.
Yeah, it's probably me though. I've got the my mic like sitting on the table because I couldn't get it to like attach to the table. That sounds better,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm super jealous of the sunny vibe you've got going there.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
even like I just got out of the shower. Hold on, I got to show you a few things. I am so put together today.
Me too. It's all good.
No, look. So
Oh,
last night I was
what happened?
out working on the mulch and
Uh-huh.
I asked Elena to hand them to Anthony because they kept falling off my face. And I was like, hey, ask Daddy to put them
Uh-huh.
in the truck. But then later when we went out for more mulch, I forgot I'd asked.
No,
Yeah.
they were still
But
on the
I
truck.
found them at the bottom of the driveway today. Didn't even know I was missing them. And we did end up finding, so I'm gonna glue it together. I'm gonna, but
Yeah,
for
the other
now,
piece.
we got this going on. And then if I put on these, it kind of holds it so that it's not doing this number like this.
A little
And then my hair,
cockeyed.
like I tried
I
to
like
do
your
like a
hair.
beachy thing because I was like, I don't have time to do anything because we've been working on the house all morning. And my hair
Yeah.
is neither straight nor curly. So
I think it looks great. Isn't that what like the vibe is lately? People are trying to get it curly, but not too curly. And
awesome.
like,
This is my time to shine.
it's called Utah curls. Have you heard that?
No, that's not what I got going on. That's not what I got going on. I got thinning hair. Look at this. Look at this picture.
I love
Like,
it.
anyways, okay. So, but all is well, and we get a podcast, and it's sunny, and
I love it.
my lanai is beautiful. So,
Heck
can't
yeah, it is.
complain.
I can see the reflection in the window, and I'm like, gee, mini
Oh,
Christmas.
here,
Ours,
here you go.
if I could show you the reflection in our window, it would probably look like this. It's just like cold and gray. Like
Yeah.
not the city, but the wall.
Yeah, yeah, no. I do not
Mhm.
miss that part of like winter. Like I like it to be a little cooler and it's been cooler here.
Mhm.
But like I don't need cooler than this. I'm like completely content.
Yeah. Well, I remember you being like, why would I live somewhere where the wind hurts my face? And I'm like, oh, yeah, why?
Yeah,
Why am I
so
here?
that's why I stopped. I was like, oh, we don't have to be doing this. I
Yeah.
just keep realizing that on multiple levels though. Like
hmm We don't have to be doing this,
so many things we don't have to be doing.
right?
Anyways,
Right.
so I've missed you. How was
Well,
your week?
very good. You've got a friend behind you.
Do I? Oh, that's Bella.
Hi.
Come say hi. Yeah, I'm not in a room anymore. Okay,
Nope.
I'm asking so much of this shirt. This was a last minute thing, and
It's cute.
I know, but
If it,
I'm asking a lot of it, is all I'm saying.
yeah. The problem of the well-endowed.
Yeah,
Hi, Bella.
you're so cute. Look
Hello.
at this face.
Heck yeah, she
Look
is.
at that punum. You want to hear real quick? Say hi to him.
I
Yes.
can, hello. I can already hear it. She looks
Hi.
very loud.
Oh yeah, yeah, I
Hi.
do.
I'm very loud.
No, not
You
No,
you.
it's
not
like
you.
talking on a cell phone. You're like, no, we can all hear.
You keep your
Well,
volume.
I agree. You look real cute.
Thank you.
Hope you're having an awesome day.
You too. Actually,
Oh, I am.
I have to go clean the floors now.
She's steaming the floors for us because she
Atta
rocks.
girl.
Yeah.
Look at you being all responsible and
Yeah,
stuff.
she
I'm proud
borrowed
of you.
JJ's. Oh my God.
They work.
Some people might have said, let's reschedule, but not me.
Not me.
Anyways,
Reschedule? Never.
reschedule. Okay.
Mm.
Anyways, okay.
Uh, maybe it could be like a monocle. You're like,
Really, I only need it for this eye. And I've
there you
only ever
go.
had a problem with my eyes since being pregnant with Elena.
Here,
So,
just like
okay, she's got it. Problem solver over here. Here's my engineer.
See?
just you stay
I
out of
like
her way.
it. I like it.
Not a problem.
So, anyways, welcome back to Little White Picket Fence.
Welcome back to creating neck problems one classes at a time.
Yeah, yeah. Oh God.
Bye.
Just don't pay attention. I can't look at myself. I gotta just focus on the conversation. Okay.
No, you're amazing.
So are you.
Mhm.
Alrighty. So,
We're
okay.
all amazing. Okay, so the topic for today. What are we talking about?
We're
I'll let you
just
introduce.
I don't know what we would call it. I just know that I want to talk about some things post-election, some things
Hmm.
just kind of like bounce through our thoughts. One of the things we were starting on was Emily sent me a video, which I'll find and insert right here. Dun,
Okay,
dun, dun,
perfect.
dun, dun.
No awkwardness. From all appearances, you'd think she'd spent her life undressing. Oh, now, Trixie, please, don't forget your bedroom manners. For Miss Barry has excellent bedroom habits. She not only knows how to get a husband, but how to keep him. Wasn't that executed beautifully? Isn't that awful? See, ladies, Miss Barry always rolls her stockings down from the top. Oh, look at that. Is that grace or disgrace?
And you know which one I'm talking about, right?
I think so. Maybe.
The
Maybe I do.
how to properly get
I do now
dressed.
because we just watched it. Oh yeah.
Oh God.
Yes.
So
So
women, we got to get ready, like this is
yeah.
what we voted for or sat home and didn't vote for. We were
Mhm.
allowed, but
Well,
so
so
we can be excited about this, I guess.
well, okay. So my stance, this is I have so much family on both sides, like everywhere,
Mhm.
that are
Yeah.
either extremely for one side or extremely for the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting here refusing to let politics get in the way of my family relationships. Like, no, you can take a lot of things from me, but if you take my family relationships, you're out because
I'm glad you have those
that's what.
family relationships. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like my
Yeah.
family is so part of religion that it in a large part is who they are as people. And so
Hmm.
like we're still very like there's nothing that really makes us fight. Like I've been very open with my
Yeah.
parents and sharing my disdain for their choices and them explaining theirs and
Hmm.
but there's no love lost. We don't hate each other. I think you can feel very
No.
different and not have to ride the middle. I think it's important to have an opinion.
By writing the middle, I feel like I'm just like taking the pieces from both sides that I like and cherry
Yeah.
picking, even though I feel like there's a very strong you're not allowed to do that right now feeling.
No, you're
Like it
yeah.
when I talk to either side, they are so stunned that I'm not for the side they're on. Like
Yeah.
whoever I'm talking to, they're just they're like, how can you not see it? And you talk to the
Yeah.
other side and they're like, how can you not see it? It's really it's really been interesting.
So we need people
Um,
like you who can ride the line because I'm struggling to ride that line because
yeah.
I need someone to paint a picture for me of the other side that makes sense to my mind. Because I feel like I understand
Well,
the other side, but I understand that they aren't really thinking for themselves because you can't have a belief system that like informs your thoughts and just claim that as your thoughts. Because have you ever been
mhm.
without it? Do you know what you would choose without it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's super important for everybody to ask themselves, but when you're entrenched deep into it, it's so
Mhm.
hard. Like I would have said it was pretty much impossible. When I was fully Mormon and fully entrenched, fully conservative, fully everything, you couldn't teach me anything. Like you really couldn't
No.
because I
We
was
already had all the answers.
already had all the answers and I was very used to not thinking for myself. I was listening to the powers that be on my side and making that make sense in my head. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
No, it makes total sense. And now looking back, I can see how they use like literally the research that we have into the way that music and setting a mood like really influences the way people feel about things, so they can set up very spiritual situations that would invoke feeling in literally anybody.
Hmm.
Like there was that story, I think I told you about the woman who it was her shelf breaking point for leaving the church.
Explain further.
So she was in school, I guess. She was learning about music and like in music and film. And so she was in a course that was teaching about how to like take people where you want them to go with a thing. And as she
Yeah.
was in the temple and as she was watching the newest movie, and as she saw a tear in Adam's eye before Eve took a bite, so he had no knowledge of good and evil.
Uh,
But they evoked,
yeah.
so she heard the music, she saw the thing, and she was like, wait a minute, I'm being manipulated right now. And that was her
Hmm.
shelf that made her look at everything else because she's like, why would they be using that? Why would they need, like, why is that their thought process? Why are they operating like a business who needs to market better? It's not, that doesn't
Yeah.
feel good.
No, it doesn't. And actually, do you know what that reminds me of?
What?
It's slightly off on a tangent, but
That's where I live my
I
life, slightly off on a
yeah,
tangent.
when don't we all? The tangents are the place to be.
Yeah.
When I was a little kid, I would really get into like human interest stories and
Okay.
like um the stories that they would tell in church about, spiritual experiences and
Hmm. Yeah,
miracles and things. I would feel those so deeply, and I loved feeling like that.
I
And then
still love
like
that. I
I do
still
too, but I
do.
have to be more careful because
Yeah.
my dad ruined it for me. Hi, Dad. Um,
Hi, Bill.
so we were listening to Christmas music one year when I was really little, and that song came on that's like, "Sir, I wanna buy these shoes for my mama, please."
Yeah,
Right?
Christmas
Little
shoes. Also, Emily
Christmas
can
shoes.
sing. Did you hear that?
Yeah, that was not good.
I love your voice.
Um, thank you. But anyway, so you got this Christmas song about a kid who's going to buy shoes for his mom who's dying because she's going to meet Jesus and he wants her to look pretty and everything.
Yeah.
And as a little kid, I'm like, oh yeah, what a special story. And my dad out of nowhere is like, this is sappy, manipulative crap. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is a great story. And he's like, no, there's no kid, there's no shoes. Somebody wrote this so that you'd go, oh, like, eh. And he's
There
like,
are a lot of
no,
people in need, and and I think
there
it's
are.
sometimes, but yeah, when you see that,
Yeah.
like,
But when it's written specifically for manipulations, it's just like,
it
it's
just
important
no
to see
longer
that and
hits the same. Yeah.
understand. Yep. So I can't listen to that song anymore. There's a lot of them that get me, but now I listen to them and I'm like, okay, are they really trying to like bring out my altruistic side or are they trying to get me to buy a CD because I feel something? You know what I mean?
You want to know
So
something I heard recently that made me feel something that I did not see coming?
what's that?
There is a Tupac song where he's
Oh yeah.
literally kind of like advocating for women's rights.
Oh yeah. I know
And
that
I'm
one.
just
I can't
like,
sing it
I'm
here, but
listening to it and I'm like, it almost made me want to cry. Like he was literally like the way that rappers were portrayed to me and talked about in like the world that I lived in really demonized them. And it's just
yeah.
like he was literally fighting for me back then. You know what I mean? Like how many people do we just not listen to because they're not saying it the way we want to hear it, but they've been saying it
Or
all
yeah,
along. And
they say
that kind of
important
stuff
things,
hits
but
me
they use
now.
swear words.
What'd you say?
I
Or if they
said
use swear
they're
words.
right. They're
Yeah,
saying a
that's
good
why
message, but
we
it has
curse
swear
at
words
my
in it.
house because they don't scare us. They can evoke emotion
No.
just the same. They really, I mean, Elena is so fucking good at using the word fuck. Like, and she does
That
it
I
every time
believe.
we're in the car because she knows it's a safe space. Every time we're at home. And then it's funny, like when my friend Jamie, she's like my bestie in the hood. You would love her. Every
Uh-huh.
time she comes over, Elena makes it a point to insert fuck somewhere because she's allowed to say it around them. So she's like,
Hmm.
ooh, here's an opportunity for me to say that.
This is a safe place
She
for
would
that.
just randomly be like, hey guys, look at this fucking balloon. Just to see if anybody would react. And we wouldn't react. And we'd be like, that is a fucking balloon. And she'd be like,
You're right.
you can say that here. And I was like, I
Right?
know you can
When I
because it
called you the
doesn't
other
hurt
day and
us.
she was
And
just,
guess what? She is still not done. Like, because I just went to a little thing in her class and it was amazing. Because her teacher is just like, wow, her vocabulary is like very advanced. Like she's She's pretty neat little kid.
Yeah.
That's always
Use
nice
the
to
word.
hear about your kiddo. But
Heck yeah.
poinsettias. Oh, how
It
Christmas
was
appropriate.
bugging me how close they were behind my back. And I'm like,
Well, how easily
sorry.
distracted I was though. I was like, squirrel. Just stop talking and stared at the flower.
No, I love talking to Elena. And the other day when I called you and she was just in the back of the seat going fuck, 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 fuck. I'm like,
She's in
right
the
on.
car. That's her space. It's her favorite
Yep.
sound. She doesn't say it's her favorite word. It's her favorite sound. And I'm like, I totally get it. I have fun with it now too. And I'm like, but it
Right.
used to shut me down. And I'm like, it's so funny that that word had so much power and that it makes people
It
so
could
upset. And
and it can
why?
make you
Why does it
stop
make you
listening
so
to what
upset?
else is
And
being
why?
said.
Exactly. Exactly. Why? Because you've been told to do that. Because you've been told that's bad. It's going to make you feel icky. And so it did make me feel icky. And now I'm like, no, it just kind of made me a victim because it shut me down because I started having a reaction to a word instead of listening to the words.
Well, and it kind of conditioned you to like
Exactly. Conditioned me.
stop thinking about why you were doing things like the word crap was okay, but the word fuck was not. And or
Yes.
shit was not and crap was. And that I remember thinking as a kid, like, how does that work? Like
Do you
they're
know
the
what
same
Bella's
thing,
word? I
right?
mean, sorry. Do you know what Elena's word for fuck is at school?
Huh.
Sigma. Because everybody's already saying what this, like Sigma,
Yeah,
Sigma,
what the
Sigma.
Sigma.
So when she wants to say what the fuck, she goes, what the Sigma? She's in
I love it.
kindergarten and she's just like,
She
okay, that's
knows.
a fun word everybody else
She's
is
got it
using.
figured
And
out,
so I'm just, I'm like, I love that. You're so freaking funny and awesome.
right?
And she
And that's
still
why
has
she has
yet,
a
because I asked her teacher when we were there, I was like, was she doing anything? I was like, has she ever? And so I just asked her, like, she's never like said a bad word or anything in your class. And she goes, oh, no, no, I never. And I was just, so, but I didn't
really?
tell her, oh, yeah, because she can say it at home. I didn't tell her, like I told her
Yeah.
pre-K teacher, because I almost did. I was like, I don't know, her pre-K teacher like would take offense to the questions she would ask and stuff and get a little bit, seemed like bothered that she wasn't just going with the flow.
Towing the
And
line and yeah,
yeah, she always towed the
making
line,
it
but
easy on her.
thankfully this teacher knows how to put her back in line by
Oh,
answering the
good.
questions, by just not telling her just
Right?
because. Because she's just not a just because kid. And I'm not a just because human.
That's
So
that's not an answer.
it's not an answer.
So
It's not an answer that
that
I'm
is very
just gonna
good.
take and as the end all be all. You don't get to tell me,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a reason why
But
everything's done. There's no reason you shouldn't be able to just say the reason.
pulling it back around, that
There's
really is all they had to say if it was a leader that I was told to listen to. Like it's just because, oh, okay.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
then then that works. Okay. So since the election,
Okay.
um, things that I have noticed
Okay.
from both sides.
Okay.
Um, so from the, I will just call it the Kamala side. From the Kamala side, there is a lot of uh, what's the word? I wanted to use resignation, but that's not resignation. It's like there's a sadness, there's a heaviness,
Very much
there's
so. Yes, I feel it.
a little bit of hopeless and some just
Because it
disappointment.
feels like a huge
Just
win for the conservative movement. Because it is a huge
yeah,
win for the conservative movement. They've put so many things in place that it's hard not to be sad about what I imagine the future of our country to be at this point. Because what they want for the
yeah.
future of this country isn't anything close to what I want for a world. So it's hard not
Yeah.
to be a little sad.
Well, yeah.
So
Two things in particular. Um, so women's rights comes up at the very top of the list. Like we feel like we've been kind of let down, that we've gone
very much so.
backwards. We've
Hmm.
gone backwards,
Hmm.
that common sense has kind of left the chat sometimes, especially when talking about things related to abortion. Not even abortion itself, but like the when women need to get D&Cs after having a miscarriage, being questioned about having a miscarriage, whether or not, it was really a miscarriage, waiting to get medical treatment because doctors are worried about doing things too soon or if it wasn't an emergency enough and things like that, that are causing women real problems. And to me, it feels like the more advanced, okay, how do I say this? So it feels like instead of having doctors and people who understand the whole situation, making these plans and saying, okay, what really makes sense? What do people need in their healthcare circle here, it feels like you've got a group of the guys who believe that women can hold in their periods and everything comes out of one hole are making these decisions for us. And it's like, dude, you don't
They
get
think,
it.
but they think, and they are perpetrating a lie that women are just killing, like Donald Trump saying that, talking about the post-birth abortions, or, so all the things they say that it's like, that's
There's a lot of scare
literally not
tactics.
happening. And if you find that happening,
Mhm.
persecute that person, that one person. But most people are making a decision for themselves in no way to try to murder a baby. Like you're creating a
Yeah.
problem that doesn't exist to fix the problem because you're
Well,
uncomfortable with us having to say, you need to control something about us, basically, is all it tells me.
well, when abortion was first introduced, like as a legal option,
Mhm.
um, it was believed that it should be a rarity, but it needs to be for the people who really need it. And since then, we have kind of turned it into like um, another just form of birth control. The numbers
Mhm.
have gone up and up and up.
Okay, and how
And
much have we put
and
into
that's
men's birth control? How much have we put
yeah,
into
well,
castrating, like to just doing
it's
tying men's
castrating.
thing? Not, I didn't mean castrate, but
No,
you know what I mean, like vasectomies that are reversible. Like we
yeah,
never,
no,
ever, ever take any time.
there's a
So
ton
none
of
of that
things
is
we can
all
do.
true. And yes, it's gone up.
Hmm.
That in no way justifies.
Yep,
That in no way justifies taking away our rights. If you as
I
men
agree
would
with you
like to make a
wholeheartedly.
decision about somebody's body, it should be about your men's body. We should have two separate councils.
Yeah,
The women can decide, and let me fight those Christian women. Let me. I'm gonna be like, you really want to tell me how to family plan? You really want to tell these people? Like, men fight men, women will fight women. Let's figure out our own shit because stop thinking you should have a voice about a woman's life. Stop. And I maybe shouldn't have a voice
well,
about
it
yours. You know what's best for
no,
men?
well,
Help
it
each other.
yeah, well, it's really easy to feel like you are on the side of the moral authority by saying, I value human life and I don't want abortion. Like that's a really easy stance to take,
Yeah, very
but
easy and stupid.
it takes the humanity out of it,
It
and
does.
um, there's so much more that goes into it than just a blanket. Nobody should ever have an abortion.
It's just
It's
a
it's
horrible
almost
situation
like
for any woman to be
it's
in. Like,
it's almost like it should be between the woman and her doctor, and the government should
almost.
stay out of it altogether. That's
Mhm.
weird. Like
Like, why are we talking
it's
about this? There are so many real issues we can be talking about, and you're doing
mhm.
this?
It's
Like,
way more nuanced than a blanket yes or no.
yeah.
Like you can't just do that. So that's a really real worry. I have people close to me actually that have told me that they've decided that they can't have kids because um, the wife has um, risk of complication during pregnancy, and she's like,
I can't take that
I'm not
risk
willing to
anymore.
put
Yeah.
my I can't take that
I
risk,
wouldn't have chose to
which
have kids in this because like
mm,
I didn't even know I was gonna have medical complications when I did, but
yeah,
I was so nervous of it. And if these things were in place, I wouldn't have done it. I would have chose not to have kids. And with
yeah,
having my daughter who has an autoimmune condition who literally started her period right at the same time as a cold, and that virus dropped her platelet load and she couldn't stop clotting and almost bled to death from her period. So getting pregnant could be lethal to her. And so
yeah,
like, and we wouldn't even know. Like, I didn't know until I was pregnant with any of my kids till after the 6 week mark. So,
right.
like, it's
It's
just so
not
many
as not
stupid
as
things
simple
that
as
I'm just
all
like,
that.
wow, like you're literally just taking access to like people being like, you just
Mhm.
refuse to think outside of yourself. Like everybody puts themselves in
Yeah,
that situation and what they would do. Get the fuck out of every situation. It's not about you.
yep.
Like literally.
And not only that, but I've said it in a lot of different ways. Just knowing you have a choice does something to your psyche that is super, super important.
Mhm.
Because if somebody, I had a choice to have kids,
Mhm.
I love my kids, want each one of them, all of that. But if somebody had come to me and said, you have to have kids, and this is the schedule you need to have them on, and this, something like that, it would have taken all the joy out of it.
Yeah.
It
And
would
then
have
that would
sucked the
have
life out of it.
taken the joy out of the kid's life because the mom, like kids deserve to be
Yeah,
chosen. Kids deserve to be wanted.
yeah.
And when they're not, it's
Same,
evident.
mhm. Same with like my lifestyle. I would say I'm a very traditional type wife. I
Mhm.
stay at home. I raise my kids. We make a lot of cookies. I try
Yeah.
to clean. I try to cook. Um, but if somebody had come to me and said, you have to do this. You need to, you know, forget about anything else. And this is you and this is what you're doing. I would have been like, nope.
And that
Like
is my problem with all of this because I
it has to be a
I
choice.
I know, but and it wasn't a choice. And even though I would have chose to have my girls, and I'm so glad I have them, and I would like even having them, I still would have chose to like maybe have Anthony literally stay at home and take on the
Yeah.
role of doing, because I always am the one who has the drive and is like coming up with the ideas to do things. And it's like putting so much pressure on that traditional thing made me ignore my own instincts, ignore, you know what I mean? So I guess that's why I'm a little more angry because you you would have chose it anyways. And honestly, part of that is probably because your husband had such a good job. I was never in the position where, like, as from the beginning,
Well, we
I've
started out
watched
as
Anthony
like
grow up. Huh?
I
Like, I
said,
know
not from
it's,
where we started out. I mean,
no,
we
I
were just
know, but you
little
started with
babies.
something. Cody had a knowledge already. Like when we met Cody, we already knew he worked at Big O Tires. Like we knew that was his thing. And Cody he's just a hard worker and he took that and he ran with it. But that's not everybody.
Yeah.
So I tried to support my husband and he couldn't take something and run with it. He tried and tried and tried and tried and tried to fit into a square into a round hole until he broke. And here we are.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's easy to not be frustrated when everything works for you. But we need to remember that everybody's living their own individual lives and
Hmm.
and like you should be frustrated that everybody else isn't getting to feel how you're feeling because you would choose that. So
Yeah.
that's just, I don't know.
But the to feel like you had a choice from the beginning would have been huge.
Yeah. And I know
And
I
I think
did
we
so
need
much
more
to
of that, not
myself.
less.
Yeah. I know I did it to myself. I know I like
We do
accepted.
everything to ourselves. Like
Uh-huh. But I did it because
anyway.
of what I was taught. I did it because
Yeah.
what I was shown. I did, you know what I mean? I like
And you
tried
felt like that
so
choice
hard.
was
Yeah.
more limited.
Well, yeah, like just like me and Anthony at the beginning of our relationship, like I was so afraid of being a nag. The ways that they've like basically made women talk shit about women, like we laugh at the jokes when it's like, oh yeah, she nags, or oh yeah, they do this, and we laugh about that dynamic. Like the guy's just funny, the woman just nags. So I was so afraid of being that. But when you're like trying to be the like leader and somebody else isn't leading and it's perceived as nagging, or you know what I mean?
It's
Like
hard.
it's very hard. So I spent so much of my life trying not to be perceived as this thing that I was told was so horrible. Only to get to this point in my life and
Right?
be like, I wish I would have fucking nagged. I wish I would have just taken the reins. But that was not my
Hmm.
role. And I get it's my fault, but like my girls will know that there is no role for them. And nobody and
Yeah.
no man will tell my children what and who they are.
Yeah. Um, Along the same line, something I've been thinking about this week is so I've been talking to a lot of women who feel like we've gone backwards a little bit and they're a little worried about where
Mhm.
that will go. And then I hear I'm not even going to get into that, but
Please do. Come on.
anyways, well, it was going to take me for different place where I wanted to go. But
Okay.
it reminded me of so there's this argument of like, okay, there should be some equality for women in the workplace. And then the argument goes directly to, oh yeah, well, do you see women wanting to work on oil rigs? And do you see women wanting to, clean out sewers or things like that? And there there is a point there. However, the thing that it made me think of was how many, if you do your research, there are many very famous scientists who we have now found out would take their wife's work and publish it under their own name so that it would be taken seriously.
Yeah.
Many
I
famous
was
authors,
I was doing Anthony's training for work to keep him at the level
yeah,
he was at.
many famous authors who their work was published under their husband's name or a man's name just so it would be taken seriously. And even artists, their art would be published under their husband's name so that it would be taken seriously. And that's the kind of equality that
That,
we need to be focusing on.
yes.
It's not that we want to work in oil rigs. It's not that there
That's
are
not true
some
though,
jobs
by the
that
way.
are,
That's not true. Go follow
well,
go to TikTok and look up like tradeswomen. women who are working in the trades.
Dude, there are kick-ass women everywhere.
Yeah. Just because you've been told that that's more of a man job and a man's going to want to do it. I meet a lot of men that don't want to work at all, honestly. And it's because they're so just stressed and depressed about everything. And it's kind of, I think, because they were all sold a version of a world that doesn't exist anymore. They were sold a version of the world that we were here to serve them. And now that women are like saying, okay, you know what? I do want to live differently. I do want to live a little more like, I want to be more intentional about how I live. It leaves them without like that role they were bred to fit. And so they haven't like, I love Anthony so much and he's going through so much right now, but it's like he hasn't reached that. He didn't get to grow up over certain things because he was forced to shut things down when he was younger. The way that it is like the way that boys bully boys, you know what I mean? To make them be better boys, better men. Like there's so many different kinds
Doesn't
of
work.
what it is to be a boy, what it is to be a man. It is so different for every single one of them. And pigeonholing them, I think, has fucked them up just as much as it had us. And like while some people thrive in these environments, like you and Cody, so many of us are not because we can't have a world that works for people who only want to do things one way. And if that works for you, great. But you have to allow the spaces and the freedom for the rest of us to live how we want to.
Yep. This really has nothing to do with anything, and I don't mean to like take away from anything you just said, but
No,
it
you're
reminds
not.
me of I forget her last name all the time. Ilona, the dancer, Dancing with the Stars.
I don't know.
She's a rugby player.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen this? Yeah.
Okay.
She is she's a good dancer. She's having fun. She's doing, what she wants to do. She is definitely not your typical like ballerina shaped human. You know what I mean? But she's out there living her best life and enjoying it, and I'm loving watching her. Like,
Yeah.
heck yeah, she's having a ton of fun. That is awesome.
It's nice to have representation of all different types of people. Yeah.
Right? Sometimes we get locked into these little like, no, this is the way it should be. And it's good to have people be like, but what if it wasn't? Like let's push a little bit and what if I could dance too, even though I'm not shaped like all these twigs? What if,
Yeah.
I don't know, there's a million different examples, but yeah, anyways, that was off a little bit, but
No worries.
yeah, anyway, women are just feeling like it would be nice if we felt like the government cared. You know what I mean? Like,
or if the government didn't really have just didn't care so much, honestly. If they
yeah, there you go.
they just took their hand out of that basket and was like, hold on, let's just leave that alone. That's not really up to us. So that's what I would rather, honestly.
Yeah. Right? Uh-huh. Going back to the abortion thing, I wouldn't have my oldest if these rules were in place. Like, um, my first time getting pregnant, I had a miscarriage and I needed a D&C to clear things out afterwards. And
Which
then
is basically that's an abortion. Just because they're removing the cells, yeah. So, but people don't understand that.
Yeah. But there was no heartbeat. Baby was gone. And I got pregnant shortly thereafter and had my oldest. And if I hadn't have been allowed to have that D&C, then my life would have been different. You know what I mean? So I appreciate the fact that there were doctors that could tell me what I needed to do and help me out in that direction. And I think, I don't know, if I'd have gone in there and they were like, we'd really like to do this, this is what we would do, but we don't want to get sued and we don't want you to get in trouble, so we need to like hold off, and that would have felt gross.
Yeah.
And
a lot of people are having to deal with that and then dealing with the ramifications of it getting pushed back too much because people are so afraid now that people are losing their lives over this.
Yeah.
And it's just ignorant.
It really is. It feels like we've lost some common sense there.
Yeah, a lot.
Like I don't like abortion either. I hate the thought.
So don't go get one, period.
Yeah.
If that's your thought on abortion, don't. Yeah, exactly. But that's
I guess I did.
That's as far as our thoughts really matter when it comes to anybody else. Yeah. Like I'm so sick of the whole like the conservative or anybody who seems to think that they have a hold on like they have a moral high ground. They think they have a
Yeah.
better understand. Like the people who are like, if you don't like believe in God, like how you basically don't have morals. And it's like you realize that like we're all born. I know that you're told Adam's sins are your sins, but like children are really pretty sinless. They are so genuine. They are taught hate. They are
Yeah.
taught fear. Like, but like, I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
like the all these things that you think are just, I don't know. It blows my mind. Like you were saying earlier, like one side can't see the other side's way of thinking. And I feel like
Hmm.
I'm a little different because I do see their way of thinking. I
Don't
see it.
understand why.
I don't, yeah, because I literally have believed that before. And I feel like my thought process is now is like an evolution of what you can be after that once you just let that go. And you can still, all your morals still stay intact. I still very much care
Mhm.
about people and I care about like I feel like I care about everything literally more because I believe way more in personal accountability for myself and for others. And I feel like
Hmm.
the conservative like super religious people want to give God a lot of glory,
Hmm.
um, and use him as an excuse for a lot of things. But that just takes
Yeah.
away personal accountability, like it's God's
In a lot of
plan or it
ways.
was God. Yeah, that it's just kind of like you're using him as an excuse as far as I'm concerned at this point. Like,
Yeah. But they feel like it's um the plan for the world.
and
But
that's
I'm
dangerous.
gonna
That's
that is dangerous.
dangerous.
I'm gonna get to that side in one second. I just wanted to finish up one thing if that's
That's
okay.
okay.
Another group though that has been affected by the election is the LGBTQ community, LGBTQIA plus community. Um, they feel like they've gone backwards as well.
They have,
Um,
yes,
hmm
voting on the same side as
hmm
the taking away abortion rights is taking away their
Yep.
rights.
Taking
Yeah.
away their rights, feeling like any progress that's been made has now been shoved backwards, that
Mhm.
they don't have a place
Once
in
again,
this
based on
community.
lies about them being a danger to children and everybody, despite statistics showing that
Well,
is not even remotely the case.
well, even if there is a section that's causing trouble, there's
Uh,
I'm not saying there. I'm just saying
yeah,
that
I
even if
know,
there
but
was,
just think if you're going
like,
to give that any credibility, then you also have to
oh,
say,
I'm not.
okay, then every single man should also be because
Yeah,
you're doing most of the
that's
thing. You
where
know
I
what I
was going with
mean?
that.
Like,
Was like
there's no credibility to that. I
we all
cannot.
have
Yeah.
there are sections of every community that are warped and perverted and gross and all of that stuff. And
Yes.
there are things that I think we can do. I don't want to get too much into that right now, but like I think there are a lot of things we could do to at least show like, hey, let's let's connect with our neighbors. Let's show a little humanity. Let's let's figure out where people can use the bathroom instead of fighting about where they can't. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And
Yes.
even that is like more of a personally based thing because you have a lot of trans people that are really good at passing off as the other gender. And so if you have like a trans man who is now forced to go to the women's bathroom but looks like a butch man, you know what I mean? That causes the same kind of problem. So
Yeah, but they don't even
like,
see that side of the equation. They forget that the trans men exist and they only go after the trans women. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
there's a
In a
lot of
huge
things.
part.
And they're not going away. They're just as American as the rest of us, and we do need to figure out like
They're just
how to
human beings, man.
coexist peacefully. Even if you don't agree with them, we need to figure out how to coexist peacefully.
And just
So that's
not agreeing with who somebody is just makes you an asshole. It's okay. Just say I
yeah.
don't like them because I am a child who never
Well,
learned the whole if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like
Uh-huh.
spreading hate, you could just nothing them. They're not hurting you. Leave them alone.
Hmm.
Obviously,
Yeah.
these things make me angry. I'm sorry.
No, I think it's okay. I think it's okay for people being mistreated to make you feel bad.
Yeah.
I I think if it didn't, we probably wouldn't be friends. So there.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah. So there's my mom is a therapist, right? That deals with a lot of that community. And the feeling that she gets is just kind of uh, they're feeling pretty down right now. They're feeling pretty
Defeated.
marginalized, and there's a lot of them that wanna leave. Like
Yeah.
I don't see this getting better in the next few years, and a lot of them remember how it was when Trump was president before and how they felt then, and it was not good. And so,
And this will be worse.
mhm.
I
And
promise
so,
you.
so for the six people listening to this, you know,
Yes, all six of
take care
you.
of people. Take care of the people around you. Stand up for the people around you. Like, don't be an asshole.
Pretty
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
much. But you're onto something there, and that's why I want to like start a property that I can share. And like even right now, with us working to sell our house, like the community around us, like my neighbor happens to be my realtor, but like she's coming over
Oh,
and bringing people in from the community to like help and give us quotes and stuff. And it's so great to see that like community effort to help. You know what I mean? Like just,
yeah.
and even if it's just introducing you to someone who has the know-how to teach you how to do something, like it's simple. It's just, but reaching out and
Makes
asking
you
for
feel like
help
you're
from your community and being part of the community. We need a lot more of that for sure.
makes you feel like you're part of something bigger and that you have
Yeah,
ownership in the community around you. Like it it feels good. It
it does
feels
feel
good
good.
to be wanted and to like be part of the group. You know what I mean? As
Yeah.
as junior high as that sounds, all of us still have that need, even if you're not a people person, just to be accepted and loved by the people around you. Like
Yeah. Not be questioning who you
that's
are or wondering if people are thinking bad of you. Like you just are
mhm,
and you're fine who you are. There's nothing wrong with
mhm.
it. As long as you're not hurting
Yeah.
anybody else, honestly. Can we touch
So
on Project 2025 though again? Have you heard people
sure.
talking about that?
I haven't heard much since the election, but if you have, go for it.
Well, have you been following Trump's picks for his cabinet members?
Mhm.
Yeah. So you know that some of them are
Somewhat.
authors of 2025,
I don't know that I know that or not, but yes, keep going.
but that's just it. He tries to distance
Yeah.
himself from that, you know. And
Hmm.
but we also know that like if you watch videos of him, like they can be fact checked. He's basically just a habitual liar. I don't think he knows what truth is. I think I
Yeah.
don't think he's the leader he thinks he is. I think he's been manipulated by the conservative movement because like he's rich, so he definitely doesn't want more money going to entitlement companies because he wants to just kind of be up there with his money, whatever. That's what he's thinking. But I made that TikTok and maybe I'll share it here. I made a TikTok with some thoughts I had on what I feel like the conservative movement is doing. But
Yeah.
what did you think about what I said? Did that ring as possibly true?
Just now?
Yeah,
Just
like
now
the
with the
video that
2025?
do you remember? I thought you liked it on TikTok.
I'm
So,
sure I did. I'm sure I did.
okay,
I
but I'm
just
going to
am
share
not
it.
remembering which one it is.
Okay, so I think I have figured out like the overall plan for the conservative movement. In Project 2025, it talks about cutting entitlement programs. So basically, our current welfare system we've set up. I didn't make the connection before. I just was thinking, okay, selfish people, greedy people, not wanting to share the money being put into taxes. I don't know. I know they'll always leave money for war and overpaying the politicians. So, what I think they're doing is making people dependent on churches again. You can't get help from the government, you're going to have to go back to church. Um, I know in the Mormon faith, you had to be a member and go talk to your bishop and probably be paying your 10% church tax. And then they have food for you. Mormon church even has like their own product, Deseret food. That's something I ate a lot growing up. So it's nice that they can share, but it sucks that it's being done this way in a way that's clearly to control.
What do you think
About
about my thoughts?
how it's bringing people more toward the churches?
Yeah, how I think that's
Yeah.
their goal. I think
Hmm.
that
I think that's a
they
really interesting take.
I don't think
And
it's just a take, it's so
you might no,
clearly
you
the
might be right.
agenda because I I feel like my experience with the church and everything has really formulated my thoughts. And so, like, I'm speaking from experience. The churches will be the welfare, which brings the people back to the churches. So, if we get to a point in this country where we don't, we're not sharing the taxes so much with everybody to try to help and stuff like that, go to the Mormon church, I guess, and join because they have an abundance of money. You will have to pay your 10% church tax, but you will get fed and housed as long as you go ask your bishop. Like, it sounds
Which I
stupid,
have.
but like that's literally like that's where this movement is pushing welfare to
Mhm.
by cutting entitlement programs and encouraging church and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
it's so clear to me the control that's being exerted, but like you said, you
Hmm.
just can't tell someone who they refuse to see it because it works for them. And one day
It
it's
works for
not
them.
going to work for them though, because they're going to end up in a situation where they need to make a choice for themselves and they're not going to be allowed to. And it's going to suck.
Yeah. That that is a very good point. I've seen I've seen church welfare work really well and really bad. And
Mhm. Our welfare shouldn't be
I
dependent on our
think
beliefs
I
if we
think
care about everybody.
so here's my thought on churches in general. Whatever your religion is, whatever your beliefs are, that's separate. I'm talking just the church as a running entity, like a almost like a business.
It is a
Um,
business. Yeah.
yeah. Where I don't like it is you have a lot of people assigned to callings that they may not be qualified for.
Yeah.
You have untrained therapists and priests and pastors and stuff that work really well for a lot of people, but when
Chaplains.
it comes to certain yeah, when it comes to certain things, they're not qualified for this side over here.
Nope.
It doesn't work. I can think of several that I'm probably not allowed to talk about. Like
Oh, I wish you would.
I know, but like things that I've overheard and you know what I mean, things that like, okay, you can't. But like,
Call me later. I need to know.
okay,
Go ahead.
okay. But yeah, so in a lot of ways they do work. There's a lot of people that get a lot of good out of talking to their bishop and talking to their pastor, talking, and they can provide they can provide a lot of help. With the Mormon church, we had people that came in all the time to get a little bit of help with like their rent or their food or a lot of things. There's moms that needed
Hmm.
babysitters, and this Relief Society would step up and
Hmm.
they can do a lot of good. But when it's bad, it's so bad. Like I
Yep.
knew one lady that would really needed help, but because she had an abrasive attitude, you know what I mean? They're like, "Oh no, you don't, you don't get this." And I'm like, Shh. If I went in and asked for it, you would give it to me whether I needed it or not. But because
Hmm.
she's kind of like the Karen attitude, you're
Hmm.
like, no,
Hmm.
like
So they're policing who gets the
they're
welfare.
policing.
And that
Yeah,
is, but they're policing it not by need, but by their with how they qualify
but
people in their
they
minds.
think they're morally right though,
They
and
think they're the authority. Yeah.
because
I
they
know
don't
they
have the
think it,
same rules.
but it's literally like a stupid way of thinking. You are
Hmm.
controlled. There is no one who can tell me they're thinking for themselves when they're thinking those thoughts because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for you to have that control over somebody else. You're really, like you were saying, people are put into positions where they're really not trained to be making these decisions or helping
It's the
people.
untrained positions that
Uh-huh.
bother me
Yes, a
because
lot.
people think they can do it, and it's like listening to untrained singers on American Idol. It's like, oh, you think you can do this, but you
It's way
probably
worse than
shouldn't.
that, though. It's way worse than that because it leaves people in so like I went and talked to the bishop a couple times for feeling like I went too far and like kissing a guy or something, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And when I
Oh yeah.
look back on it and it was just me with a grown man just talking about things like that, how do you expect that guy to not be, you know what I mean? Like that is just
Hmm.
not a good situation. And it has been
That's a
done and
bad
is
idea.
being done on repeat, even good people in that situation. Like you're
Yeah.
afraid of how people are dressing in front of them, thinking they're gonna act on it. Why are you putting them alone
Yeah.
in rooms asking them to tell me dirty things you did? I just want
I
to
need more
hear it.
information.
And then
The thought
I've
of,
heard that some meetings where it's just like priesthood leaders, sometimes they'll talk about those stories that they're given. So
oh,
that just
great.
makes it even creepier. So like
Yep.
stop talking to them, thinking that you're dirty because what they're doing ends up being dirty, even if it was a good guy in the first place. Because all of a sudden he's part of this
Well,
boys club and he has this information, and it's okay if he's getting off on it.
well,
You're the one who has
I've
to
known
stop.
lots of good bishops that I
Yes, but
believe would
that
never do
doesn't
that.
mean the
But you
system
can't,
is right just because you
yeah,
met some good. You know what I mean? Good can
yeah. But
exist
I
in
don't
a
want to throw
bad
all of
place
them under
just
the
the
bus.
same. I'm not throwing them
Yep.
under the bus. I'm throwing a system under the bus. We need to stop looking at anything as an individual attack and saying, as a
Yeah.
whole, that's a bad idea. Even if good people
Yeah.
can function in that, bad people can also function in it. So
Hmm.
we don't need to give any like that's okay blanket to it, because it's not okay just because good people
Yeah.
can avoid abusing people given the opportunity.
Hmm.
Like, yay.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, you're
No, that
so
makes
right.
sense.
Kamala's side is mad. We are mad. We are mad
They're mad.
because
They're
I
mad.
don't
They're
think
sad. They're
Kamala was the
disappointed.
end all be all. I don't think she's perfect. I don't think she's right. But
No.
she is not the side who's doing all these things we're mad about. So,
Well, and it's not the thing that I've learned most from trying to remain neutral in this is
yeah.
it's not the Church of Kamala. It's not the church,
No, we
like,
don't.
take the people out of it. It's we got to stop this cult-like feel. Like
Yeah, it does feel like a
it's not
cult.
about these people. Yeah. It's the principles that we're trying to enforce and put into place. And like how we want to live our lives has nothing to do with these people. It's just that they're the ones chosen to put these things into place.
Yeah, it feels like
But
high school all over in a way. Like now, like people are wearing their Trump stuff all over. Like in the store the
mhm.
other day, I was just like, ugh, like I felt like I couldn't look anywhere. All these little guys wearing like Jesus is my savior, Trump is my, I don't know. It's like I can't remember how it goes, but it's something Jesus and Trump, and I'm just like
Ugh.
I don't want to see it. You might as well be carrying, you might as well wear a swastika at this point. It tells me something bad about you. But they commiserate. They're going around like high
Well,
fiving and stuff. They're wearing it in their front yard and stuff. And I'm like, that's good, I guess, for you, but thanks for letting me know to stay away from you. Like I don't value your
well,
values. So stay away, please.
okay, this is the harder part that you can like
Ooh, I can't
call me
wait.
out on because right,
Please, I want to hear it.
it's the what's happening for the other side
Okay.
since the election. And
Boo.
by the
Oh,
other
I'm
side, I
sorry.
mean yours, because I'm
Sorry.
not either side.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm trying to remain neutral. So
Fair.
clearly, clearly the pro-Trump side is feeling pretty good at this time.
Hmm.
A lot of them feel like it's God's will, right?
Yeah.
But
This is weird, but okay.
that is weird. But there's a lot of hope on that side. There's a lot of um feeling like it's okay, this might sound weird, and this is only from the Church of Emily talking, but it feels like there's two sides, and the Kamala side is um, people matter, individuals matter, feelings matter, um,
Mhm.
everybody matters on that side,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Feelings matter, and on the Trump side, it's you got to forget yourself and get to fucking work. You gotta, we're not gonna put up with baby in people's feelings. We're gonna get some shit done. We're gonna make
And
sure that
I'll,
we
okay, sorry.
bulldoze through it. No, and that's
They're the pull up by
yeah,
your bootstraps because they think somehow, like, if I worked harder, they're the type that's like, I paid my student loans, so you should pay your student loans. And I'm the type that's like, I'm paying my student loans, and I don't want anybody else to have to do this because I
right.
value education and I believe our taxes should pay for it. We have
Yes.
plenty of them. Why don't we
Hmm.
reposition where we're doing this? But they are just like, I had to, you should have to. I was okay,
No,
you
there's
should
a
be
lot of
okay.
that. There's a lot of
That's all it sounds like you're saying to me. Because
no,
that's
it
so biased.
there is there's less empathy and more what's
I
going to
don't
get
think that
us
they're harder
from
workers, though. Most of them
no,
have more
it's
money, and money doesn't necessarily come from labor. Money comes from the labor of others a lot of time because nobody
yeah,
can make an hourly wage that is $1 million. It doesn't exist as an hourly wage. So
yeah.
everybody who makes money off of other people, yay for you, but you're not actually
Hmm.
doing any of the work. So you're wanting everyone to
Yeah.
work harder. You're not the ones doing the work. You're the ones controlling the money. So I don't see them
Well,
as
not
hard workers. I
necessarily.
see them as money movers.
Well, I see a lot of them. I live in a place where there are a lot of hard workers and the people
Yeah,
that
you're in
actually
farm
do put in the
towns.
work.
Mhm.
I'm in farm town and you see a lot of like, I have so much respect for like the plumbers that are out there every day, the electricians that are out there every day, the welders, the construction workers, people who work with their hands, people that are just getting shit done. Like
Mhm.
it's incredible to see. Until I moved here, I really had no idea. And the respect I have for these people that like,
Do you think most of the people that do that kind of stuff are on the right?
yeah,
Because
I do.
I see them all the time on my pages on the left. And I'll start sending
Really?
them to you. Oh yeah. I'll
Do.
start sending them to you. I'm like, this is what it is to
I
be a
loot.
man. This is a man who
Yeah,
can do everything and then also not need us to fucking serve him and make his ego feel
yeah.
good and big. They
That's
exist. And
that's a kicker.
I'll
And I
tell you,
love it
they're
when I
on the
see it.
left though. They do not.
Hmm.
There are plenty of them. Just because they can do those trades doesn't, what they're
Well,
holding on to is an old ideology where women belong to them and they're so afraid of this hierarchy being shifted because they feel like it takes something away from them. But women's rights do not take away from men's rights. They just take away your ability to tell us what the fuck to do. The end.
but I have to disagree a little bit
I
because
know. I want
Cody
you
is no,
to.
you're
I
fine.
want you to disagree. Because
Co
I want to hear something that makes sense of any of this.
well, the biggest example I have is Cody, and he is a
Yeah.
very hard worker
He's
indeed.
a great individual.
He
That doesn't make him like
very
anybody
much
else. Like
no,
he's very
you're right. But I'm just
special.
saying they exist.
Yeah, they
They
exist.
exist.
Yeah.
But the mentality of like get shit done is something to behold. And it doesn't have to come along with
Yeah.
like
I feel like
misogyny
I'm very
and
much a get shit doner. And
you are, I
so
agree.
giving that to the right is just some bullshit. We're getting shit done. We just care about people at
Yeah.
the same time.
Yeah, that's a key point right there. But there are a few things that I've liked, like,
Okay.
and keep in mind, I am not an expert on any of this. I
Yeah.
these are just little things that I see. Nobody's been officially doing anything yet. Anyway,
Okay.
um, positions like uh, there's a word I'm forgetting. There's the health people in charge of our health and nutrition and things like that.
Okay.
The people,
Department of Health, Department
yeah,
of the
probably.
FDA, the
Yeah, they're
EPA.
yeah, they're trying to put in people that actually give a crap about what we're putting in our bodies and what
Okay.
we're like.
I
There's
wish that they were putting a doctor and not a guy who knows some really good things, but completely like leaves. I don't know. He's making some pretty
talking
bold.
RFK.
I am talking RFK. Talking RFK with like fluoride and stuff like that. Like you
Yeah,
can demonize anything. Do you know you can drink too much water and if you don't
yeah,
excrete it, it can kill you? So yes,
yeah,
fluoride, fluorosis in excess can be bad. But we learned through just natural occurrences that it's good for your teeth. It's not like we just created something and said use it on your teeth. Fluoride is a naturally occurring element. That's why it's on the elements, the table of elements. And we found
hmm,
that in communities where it was naturally in the water, people had much stronger, harder teeth. That is just a fact. If you have too much, it will discolor your teeth. And it can cause, I've heard some neurological type things if used in excess. So everything in moderation. But when you come in and you make these bold claims based off of like all the time when you look at the research, I remember I used to get so annoyed. I had this person come into the dental office not wanting x-rays. And number one,
yeah,
x-rays are digital now, so it takes significant less amount of radiation. They're collimated. We wear lead aprons, like we take all this stuff. We as practitioners don't even have to wear dosimeters anymore. You know what I mean? So we see the value in the
yeah,
radiation because it helps us to see things way before, and we can do so much prevention with that. But he comes in with this
yeah,
study about brain tumors about how, like x-rays cause it. And so I looked into the study, and as I'm reading, it is based on patient recollection over a long period of time. Like all these things, and I'm like, okay, how you lost me at patient recollection because it'll have been 4
hmm,
years and I'll be like, I really have to take x-rays. And they're like, I just had them. And I'm like, no, you didn't. Like
yeah,
facts, scoreboard. You can't. So I get really frustrated at people thinking that he's some superhero because he can
yeah,
work out and he's old and he eats healthy. Yes, food is nutrition, but you're not a fucking doctor.
You're
And
not.
you're coming
I
in with
would
real ignorant shit right off the bat because I've already had to deal with his followers coming into my office telling me shit
really.
about fluoride. Yes. So if you like him, that's great, but I see a lot of negativity about him because he's not the right candidate. He's not, it's like giving the wrong person the position. Like you said in churches,
Yeah.
that's what Trump is doing with our government. He put people who think like him, not people who know how to do the job.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The thing I was excited about with RFK was just like it felt like they were going to use actual studies that were not were not commissioned by drug
And
companies. You
that's
know what I
good.
mean?
There's going to be good,
That's
sure. I'm glad for
mhm.
any progress, I guess.
So,
But I still don't
well,
think
I'm
he's the
just,
right choice.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's totally fine. I'm not saying he's the right choice either. I'm
Yeah.
just saying like this is what they're saying on the other side.
He's already been an annoyance in my life.
You're like, take your dang fluoride. I
Or
remember
just
doing rinse and
fine, don't do
swish.
it at all. Like, don't, but let me just teach you
Mhm.
about it because my job is to teach you
Yeah.
about it. Look, literally today, let me show you. I finally made my little things to show Elena how to floss, and I'm going to show everybody.
Oh, cool.
Look, these are my teeth. Watch. So
Nice.
you gotta scrape and squeegee the sides of the teeth. You can't just dance in and out.
Nice.
You can't just go in and out like that. You need to physically come into contact with the plaque, with the bacteria,
Uh-huh.
because 30 seconds after you've disrupted it, because you're never removing it, you're just disrupting it. 30 seconds
Yeah.
after disrupting it, it's already reforming. So you need to floss like that every single day, and then you'll save yourself so much. Like they want to get rid of all the social programs that, but we've literally made people so dumb that they think like, I don't know if this is gonna make sense, but let me just put this out there. So here in the villages,
Hmm.
like it's picturesque. It's so beautiful. All these retired people like
Yeah.
living their best life. So you would think like I'm sitting here looking at it and I just can't wait to get there, right? Like this is where I want to
Yeah.
get adult summer camp, right? This is where I want to be.
Of course. Yeah.
And yeah, they really are. They're having such a good time. But my view of it is changing because as I'm watching them come in and from going from the dentist to the doctor to the cardiologist, because all of them are on a bunch of meds because nobody
Oh,
eats
yeah.
healthy and takes care of themselves. And so many of them have periodontal disease, which is such a preventable disease. But so many of
Hmm.
them, well, they'll come in and say, oh yeah, I brush, I floss. They always tout, how good I blah, blah, blah. But then when I get in there and I'm like, you're leaving so much behind. You know what I mean? Like nobody ever was taught how to really take care of themselves. They were taught there was a
Yeah.
system. And so now we're just going to take the systems without actually teaching, and we're going to get rid of the Department of Education and not like, I don't, all of it is,
That's an interesting
all
one.
of it is just giving me creepy vibes that they're just trying to get it all back to like a conservative place where there's a hierarchy. Because at one point in time, they thought it worked. And sure, it worked in ways, but it didn't work for everybody. We could have it work like that again with people having rights. We could actually do
Yeah.
that if they would let go a little of the control, just a little bit. But what my point was is that I just don't want to be a hamster on a wheel. I want to make
Hmm.
changes now to eat healthier, to take better care of myself, because
Yeah.
with literally just flossing, with all of our technology, a piece of floss is literally our like best thing
Still the
for keeping it
best.
in our mouth. Yes, because you you miss about 40% of the tooth structure, I think, when you're not flossing anyways, and it's getting down in those pockets in between the teeth. That's where the bacteria really can access the bone and start to deteriorate it. So if you're not flossing, you're not just leaving behind plaque, you're leaving behind plaque in one of the areas that can destroy the foundation of your mouth. What's the
Hmm.
point of having nice hard teeth, which you won't have because you're afraid of fluoride, if you don't have a
If the
foundation to
roots are
keep them in your
gone.
mouth in the first place? It's not the roots, it's the bone
Yeah.
around the roots.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also on top of that, when you don't floss, your skin is your largest organ on your body, right? It's your first
Hmm.
line of defense. So this is just a continuation of that, right? But if
Right.
you're not flossing and it's inflamed in there, that bacteria in your mouth has access to the rest of your body through your bloodstream. So that's why they've associated with heart attacks, strokes,
Yep.
Alzheimer's. We find it on artificial knees, hearts. We have to have, if you've had like a knee replacement, hip or anything like that, you have to have a antibiotic, like a pretty strong antibiotic before we can even do anything, because we know how bad that bacteria is for us. But all of us basically walk around with gaping wounds on our body because it's in our mouth. When they separated the
Yep.
mouth from the body, as far as healthcare was concerned, it was
That
such a
drives me
huge, it
crazy.
was such a huge disservice to the human population. It was so
Yep.
stupid because it
Send
devalued
it
it like
back.
it wasn't part of our health. And I don't know.
Absolutely is.
Rachel's angry. Rachel's angry. Sorry.
Rachel sees this a
And
lot.
the sun is like, this is getting me.
I'm so
No,
sorry.
I love it. I love the
We
sun.
can,
It's just, I can't see. I don't know. You tell me, does it look okay?
yeah, okay.
Okay.
I can hurry up and finish too. Um,
Oh, I want to hear everything you
so
have to say, and I'm not in a rush. So,
okay. Well,
yeah.
I don't want you to get sunned out either.
I'll
So,
move.
well,
I want to keep talking.
okay. Well, okay. So the the Trump side is
Okay.
is really they're excited about some of the people that he's put in because they feel like they are
They represent them and what
different
they
from the
want.
norm. They represent them and what they want. They feel
Mhm.
like they're making changes, though. They feel like it's outside of the normal system of this government that's kind of fucked us over for a long time. You know what I mean?
I get
It
that.
feels like
Yeah.
at least we have a chance to try something different. And I get that excitement. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I had a patient come
I
in and be excited
it
about talking
creates
to
hope.
me. It didn't make me
Yeah.
hopeful, but I
I bet that.
heard what she was saying because she said it's
Hmm.
so nice to have. Hold on, I'm bringing it down. She just said it's so nice to have a businessman in the White House, isn't it? And I was like, I mean, I definitely don't feel the same way about that. I was like, as far as I know, for him as a businessman, I learned a lot about him from my father-in-law who worked in New Jersey for the IRS and tax controversy. And he really had a bad taste in his mouth for Trump because of all of the different bankruptcies that Trump did, which never fucked him over, but always fucked families over. So I wouldn't say he's a good businessman when he, like
Oh,
he always does what's best for him. So if that's what you see as valuable businessman, like we just have different, we just have different views, whatever. I tried to keep it
yeah.
very neutral because I have to. I don't really have the freedom most of the time to speak my mind working, you know, in
Yeah.
where I'm working. But
Your job is to
I
make sure
just thought
people.
it was so weird. Like I was like, you see him as like so you can bypass all of the things about his character. You can bypass all of the accusations because you
That's a
just
hard thing.
but it is, but they have no problem. They have no problem brushing that aside and finding some other reason why it's okay. And for her, it was because he's a businessman. And she just sees it like and I said, so you're admitting that the US is just a business and you need it to work for you. Okay. So I'm kind of like, fuck your economy. It doesn't really work for me because I don't fit the bill right now, and you're taking away my rights. So like, it's hard to see
Yeah.
value in. I'm like, you didn't like the government because the government, you don't like how they're spending our tax dollars. At least I imagine that's why we don't like them because that's why I don't like them because they
Yeah. There.
they
I feel like
just
there's a lot of
they're
corruption.
not efficient. They're not efficient at all. It's like, oh,
Hmm.
we'll have a meeting about that. Let me schedule a chair about
Let's
that.
hire 15
Hey,
managers to,
let's have a
yeah.
committee. It's just a bunch of bullshit basically at this point. So yeah, it's
Hmm.
not really functioning. It's like this whole
Yeah.
stupid system.
There needs to
And
be
you think
change.
he's gonna fix it?
And
You think he's gonna you saw the
they
taxes
do.
and things like that like yeah, they do think that.
Mhm.
A lot of them are learning as a lot of people are getting laid off what a tariff is and how it functions.
Well, I know what tariffs are because it affected us in our business when we've had them before.
Mhm.
So, um,
And businesses
yeah,
are
there's a
doing preparatory layoffs. One of the
there are a
girls,
lot of
yeah.
businesses.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
So they
Let's
thought that
see.
this was going to help them in the economy, and now they're like, "Wait a minute, why are you firing us?" Because
Yeah.
they were like, "He's going to tariff," and he told them that the other countries would pay it, but that's just not how it works.
Yeah. Well, the goal there is to make more businesses come back to the US to build things in the US. However, that takes time and that does screw a lot of people over. So
Mhm. Yeah.
that's there's a lot of moving parts here
Yeah,
that
and I
people
don't
don't always
buy
think
from
about.
Temu or any of those things. I do try to buy locally, but I'm just it's just sad to see the people who did vote for him be the ones who are now like, wait a minute, why is this happening to me? And it's like, oh,
Like,
because he has outright said the people who follow him are stupid. And if you want to find the quote of that, Jesse, and just put it out here, he's
This isn't the first time this meme has been shared on social media. A spokesperson for People told the Associated Press in 2019 that the magazine combed through every Trump story in our archive and didn't find that quote from Trump. Verify searched for the quote and only found various fact checks debunking it. Using Revi, a reverse image search tool, we found that the photo of Trump that's used in the meme comes from his 1988 appearance on The Oprah Winfrey Show. Trump didn't make the disparaging comment about Republican voters during that interview either. So we can verify, Trump did not call Republicans the dumbest group of voters in a People magazine article, or any other publication. The quote circulating on social media is fabricated.
He says these things out loud and people refuse to listen to him and believe he's being serious. They think, he's just joking, he's just funny, he's just a bully. He's like a grade school bully. I do not get the appeal. Why are you guys infatuated with it? I would really like someone to come tell me like just a couple good things about him. Help me, because I just can't stand the man.
Let's see, what do I have that's good about the man? It seems as though to the right that other countries take him more seriously than they would have taken like Kamala, which is
that might just be because she's a woman and you're just a misogynist.
Yeah.
And they're a bunch of misogynists.
Yeah, I see a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the things that a few countries have already committed to seem to be
What countries?
going in the right directions.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. So the Taliban wants peace and has started like moving in that direction. They want peace with the US.
What
China
about
wants
Trump?
peace with
What
the
about
US.
Trump would make that though? What about Trump would make that?
Huh?
That it's almost like
Because
maybe Trump is friends with them.
I think no, I think
No, you
honestly,
think.
if it was
Yeah.
well, I don't know who he's friends with.
All the bad people.
In my brain, like right off the bat, it just tells me that okay, we don't know the rule book this guy's playing with, and he's a little unhinged. We don't want nuclear war. Let's maybe like let's think this through. Like, you know what I mean? Like we don't with Biden, they kind of knew the rule book they were playing with. Like this is how it's been for a long time. These are the things we go through, and Trump's just like, I'm not doing that. Like,
yeah, because he's crazy. I guess they like it because they know that he will just send bombs.
I don't know if they even like it. I don't even know if they like it, but they may be afraid of what he would do.
Yeah, because he's a bully.
Well, and some people really like that.
I know, and that makes me worried about them.
Well, we do need a government that is not like the governments we've had where we're getting I don't know. I felt like
I agree with that, but I don't think we needed what we have coming for us.
I don't think replacing one good old boys club with another good old boys club is necessarily a great idea.
And a good old boy club that's old money versus new money, so they're really gonna know how to fuck us over.
Yeah, I don't know about all that.
Well, you should.
I wish the people who I want to lead the country are the kind of people who would be good at leading the country but would never ever put themselves in that position. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
do they exist?
the people who yes, they do. They do. And I have seen them around here. They're people who managed, yeah. And they are very, very impressive to see. The people who manage their what's given to them, what they've worked for, they manage their stuff and they do it quietly and they do it well and they do it with this wisdom that comes with doing it for years and years and years and having like the people before you doing the same thing and learning from them. It's something to behold and it's a dying art. And if we could get those people to lead the country, holy crap. Here in Burley, I've probably mentioned this before, in the 80s, right before I was born, I have a book about it. We had a ton of snow, right? I don't know if you remember Utah. I guess you weren't here in the 80s because you were in Missouri. There was a massive amount of snow in Utah and Idaho.
Okay.
And we have this little reservoir up in Oakley, and they could tell that as the snow was melting, they're like, this little reservoir is not going to hold it. And because we stupidly built in a floodplain, this reservoir is gonna fail and it's gonna take out a lot of people, a lot of businesses, and a good chunk of this area. Like it's super scary. And so you get the government's help and they come in and there's nothing we can really do about it. It would take way too much planning and way too much
Too much
like
bureaucracy and shit in the way.
too
Yeah.
much bureaucracy. We can't do it.
Hmm.
And in I think it was like 3 days, the farmers all got together with all of their equipment and they built a freaking trench from the reservoir to the river, which was like,
Okay. And that was in Idaho? Because
yeah,
didn't the same thing happen in Salt Lake?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I just know I have the book.
I'm pretty
But
sure it
they,
happened in Salt Lake too, because I know this
mhm,
story. Like I remember
yeah,
that the
but
people did
they
it for themselves. And I think that's what I'm,
people did it for themselves.
yeah.
And then the government came in and they're like, who wants to be reimbursed for your gas and your whatever? And all of them are like, we just did what we needed to do. We don't need, we don't need your
Yeah,
crap.
yeah,
We're
but
doing what we got
hey,
to do.
the
And
government
to
is our money though. Saying no to that at
the
that point
government
in
is our
time.
money,
So why turn down the money at
but
that point? That's interesting.
it was a what was the
I'm
right thing to do kind of thought process. And that's the kind of
the
thought process
right
I
thing to
really like.
do. I guess I
I
do, but
don't
I'm
know.
like, the right thing to do because if I have money, I know that I'm going to do something of value with that money. Oh, the government
Yeah,
having money doesn't give me any, like, I have no
that's
faith
true.
that something good is going to
But
happen
like,
with that.
but the hurricane that just came through was in North Carolina. I always get the Carolinas mixed up. Anyway, the people were trying to do that. They're like, we have the equipment, we
Mm,
have the
a
know-how, we're going to get
helicopter.
it done. Uh-huh. And the government came in and they're like, you have no permits, you can't be doing this. We need you to get out of here. You
Yeah,
can't help. Which
it's so annoying.
I can see why they do that because they have to have it to a certain standard. But at the same time, when you need that much help,
Yeah.
take the frickin' help.
Yeah, but think
Like,
about also why they need those standards. Why do we have
mhm,
people practicing law who are just okay with like defending the bad guys too? Why do we feel like why do people feel so eager and happy to sue? Why are there lawyers out there saying, "Hey, do you want to sue somebody?
mhm,
I can help you." You know what I mean? It makes
yeah,
it like just the same as the whole abortion thing, making doctors afraid to do their work. When you regulate those other things, you make people afraid to help because you also make it
yeah,
easy for people to be like, "Oh, they helped you the wrong way. Would you like to sue them now?" You know, like there's so
hmm,
many
yeah,
stupid ways of thinking going on out there at the same time. But
yeah,
I agree that the government
agreed.
is incapable of taking care of those things because it's so segmented
Sometimes they
into
get in the way.
groups of like people who don't know what they're doing. And like the whole thing just needs to come down. Maybe that's what Trump's
Well,
going
you
to be
have to
good
have
for,
some kind of,
the fall of America. I mean, he separated the states when he gave it back to the
yeah.
states. So we're no longer the United States because now we're going to have states who are really afraid of their people leaving to get care somewhere else, start to limit their people's ability to move from state to state. So, I mean, he
I
already
think that's what
started
we
the
need to fight right
crumble.
there.
I know, but that's what he did.
Yes.
You can't not vote against him and then say I need to fight him. You know what I mean? Like he
Well,
already has the power.
what I'm saying is we voted for states' rights, which okay, if you want to live in a state that is super hard on abortion, I guess go for it. I guess I can see the value in that. But
I
then
know.
to say like you can't travel to another state for the help that you need, I think that's where it's wrong.
What
You
value do you
can't,
see in them doing that in a state?
well, I don't see the value in knocking down abortion, but if you wanted, like if it was in your heart of hearts to live in somewhere where you knew abortion wasn't ever happening, then I guess go. You know what I mean? Be there. And
Yeah,
there
so
you go.
we're gonna
Show us by
segregate
example.
ourselves. We're gonna segregate ourselves further then. You guys go there because you don't want these things, and we're gonna go here because we do want these things. But the problem is the with Project 2025, what
Hmm.
they did was they stacked, like they looked for unopposed seats and they basically have a school to train their people. So it wasn't that it
Yeah,
was the right person, it was people who thought like them, and they went ahead and got them to all these low-level positions. So as soon as they gave the rights back to the state, they had already stacked it to go their way. So that doesn't mean that the states who are doing it are speaking for the people of their states. So there's huge groups
yeah,
of people who are like here in Florida, where they took away our
yeah,
access, they just changed it to be you needed 60% to pass. So, and then we got
yeah,
just under 60. So most people do
yeah,
want this. So giving it back to the states did not give it back to the people. That is a lie. Stop believing it.
yeah,
Project 2025 precipitated it. What is that word? It came before it, in preparation for it. he followed through with the
Mhm.
plan, and now it's just continuing to be enacted. So stop pretending like, you know
So
what I mean?
yeah, in my mind, you can't stop people like-minded from getting together and trying to like
Well, I hope they
pass what
do
they
just
want to
get
pass.
together and leave the rest of us
Um,
alone.
right. Um, we need to do the same thing. We need to
Yeah.
band together and be like, okay, so what principles are important to us? And find like-minded people and do the same damn thing.
And we are
Like,
doing that. We are. I literally just got
yeah,
joined to a blue women's group in
a
like
what?
my blue, like just democratic women,
Oh,
women who
blue. Yeah,
pretty much just because, like it does feel kind of like dark and heavy and like we're a little alone because it's like, wow, a lot of people think a lot of different than me. So I need to find my people. So we are
yeah,
finding each other and we are building communities. I even have a girl
yep,
who's been talking to me on TikTok who I'm like, I'm gonna be starting a community garden. She's probably gonna try to find one to be part of in Utah. But I said, if you end up
fun.
out here, you're welcome. Like we
Yeah.
are starting communities and a lot of people, we're going to take care of ourselves. We'll be fine. I'm sorry for
Hmm.
you guys though who thought it was not going to affect you ever. And
Yeah,
good luck making communities with people that think, I don't know, that those rights aren't important.
yeah. I feel like my job is to find connection for both sides
And
because
you're doing a good job.
I
You're doing a good job.
I hate the feeling of us versus them no matter what side it's on. Like there are so many things that we can agree on and there's
Mm-hmm.
so many if we took out who's putting it forth
If we
and we
took out
just
their
focused on
beliefs and just if you
if
could
we
tell me why you're doing something without God being any factor, I would be a lot more open to
or
listen to it.
yeah, just make it make it make sense.
Yes.
And yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. So I feel like that's my job right now is to find connection and to make sure that people aren't dividing too heavily. It's really hard.
We need you. We need you because
We
I'm
had a
like too mad to think straight right now.
well, and um we were having a political discussion with my family on our little family group chat, and
Uh-huh.
we had one of our family members be like, "Hey, I can't talk politics. I'm out. We're done." Like, and it ended up causing a huge, but it's it's hard when you can't when you feel like you can't say what you need to say because it'll hurt the people around you. You
People
know what
are
I mean?
afraid of honesty at this point. And we all have to get
Well,
more okay with listening. Like, it's okay if we don't think alike, but we have to still be able to listen to
mhm,
each other. If what I'm saying makes you mad, think about why
mhm,
it makes you mad. Is it because it questions your belief? Well, guess what? We don't all have to believe the same. And that your belief doesn't get to, your belief does not invalidate my belief. Your belief does not supersede my belief. Your belief has nothing to do with these things. So if you don't want it to be a
mhm.
factor, stop making it a fucking factor. Keep it to
Unless
yourself.
you've been told your whole entire life that this is the one true way
I
to
know,
happiness
but
and
that
everybody needs to follow it.
exactly.
I
So that makes it like, so I've started, I'm going to show some pictures here. I've started taking some
okay.
pictures of things. So I'll send
Yeah.
you a few, but basically I've been getting letters like throughout time. Occasionally I'll get a letter and it's like from some sort of different church or things like that. And I just got one that was super political talking about, like the end of the world and stuff. So I took a picture. And as I'm driving and I'm seeing the different like signs and stuff like that, I'm starting to take pictures. I saw this woman
Nice.
walking into the school when I was going to Elena's thing the other day, and she had a huge Bible quote on the back of her shirt. So I took a picture. It was funny because we went into class and there's this one kid that Elena's always talking about. She called him their bully. He gets in trouble a lot and stuff like that. And I was like, he probably doesn't have the greatest home life. And wouldn't you know who that kid belongs to? Yeah, but anyways, this is all to say that that particular side feels very attacked, like their beliefs are under attack, but their beliefs are very
Mhm.
much free for them to have. Nobody's even questioning, taking them away. And they like to say that other people are forcing their beliefs on them by like putting it out there. But I'm like, who is literally wearing it on their shirts, putting it on the signs for their businesses, sending me letters in the mail? I have yet to receive a single inquiry about being gay. And guys, I'm ready. Okay. If I can choose, I'm ready. Just kidding. I'm just
I
saying.
am prepped. We are. No.
It's like the way they
But
used to talk about drugs, like that drugs were gonna be such a big problem. And I'm like, man, I didn't even find weed till my 30s. This would have helped so much with some of those, you know? And also, just
yeah.
to throw this out there, and I might have said it
Mhm.
before, but look it up. You know, we have an endocannabinoid system, right?
Like in your body?
Yes, like your endocrine system, we have an endocannabinoid system. So that means we have a,
No, I
you
didn't.
know, how, like we have levels that we need in our nutrition and stuff like that. Like with bipolar
Hmm.
disorder, you need more lithium because you don't. Um, so it's almost like maybe there's this natural herb that always could have helped us balance certain things in our body, but we've demonized it because somebody else could make money. Just start thinking more about why you're doing what you're doing and who told you to do it in the first place, and you'll be a lot happier. And so will I, because you'll stop telling me to do what you're doing when I think that you're wrong.
Yep.
And it's okay.
On the can say that again.
Endocannabinoid.
Cannabinoid. Okay. Endocannabinoid system. I would love to know if there's a way to like test your levels because I have always said
Probably not
I
yet,
think
but
I think I'm
it's
just
developing.
naturally high. Like,
I used to say that too, though. I think I
yeah,
just maybe experienced too many things and I couldn't get there on my own. And so now the cannabis
now you're
really,
back.
it's not what makes me happy because I'm pretty happy with or without it, but it's
Yeah,
what gives it, it gives like a voice to the words in my head. Like sometimes
yeah.
otherwise they're like just ding, 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 ding.
Jumbled.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's
Yeah, that
anxiety
makes sense.
inducing to just have so many thoughts at once and not and be like, I don't even know what the fuck I'm thinking. And it slows it down enough to like,
Yeah.
look what I did, Bella.
Hmm? Oh, why did you?
I
How?
didn't do it's not like I did
Why did
it.
you? Well, I just
Why?
got mad and
You know me.
How?
Sometimes I get mad and I just kidding.
I didn't know if you had some
sometimes I
innovative
just break my
ideas, like
glasses.
No,
you
that
did
was not an
when you
innovative
take it.
idea. It was
You're like,
that
maybe if I just hold it or
I'm
just
just a
balance
little
it on my
hyper like
nose.
spazzy
Ask her
today.
if
Do
ask her if she has any bubble gum,
you have any bubble
like
gum?
to stick it back together.
Oh, to stick it back together. Any
Okay.
bubble gum? No, she's giving you dirty looks. Look, make that face up.
No, I didn't ask. You're gonna drop your phone too.
You're giving me dirty looks. No, that you're good.
Bubble gum?
Bubble gum has to be
Mm,
like the really chewy, like the bubble yum.
Hmm?
bubble gum.
Bubble gum.
Yeah,
Okay.
it worked in so many movies in the 90s.
You hold these for a second. All right. So did you have any more things? This kid's honestly
No,
pretty
pretty
freaking
much that.
awesome. Yeah, I want to ask
Well, that
her.
I know.
She's pretty awesome.
As a Bella, as a youth, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As a youth growing up in this, tumultuous times, how do you feel after the election? What's the general feel of you and your friends? Are you feeling
Oh,
hopeful or are you feeling kind of
um,
like
I think it
cautious?
depends because there's a lot of in Florida, which is like mostly red, but living with a bunch of people who are younger, it's like some people are really with their parents and some people are really against it. It's like there's still a divide at school too, but it's nothing crazy because we're all like 15 and 16.
Yeah.
But there's some of my teachers who are like visibly upset about it, and they're like not allowed to say anything about politics, so they'll be like nothing. They'll be like nothing.
I can't tell you. I
But I
can't tell
love them
you.
and I want to
Just
be friends with them because it's got to be hard to be in that position.
They'll be
And
like,
especially with like the talks of cutting Department of Education and stuff. It's they're trying so hard to help
that
the
will be
kids right
interesting.
now. And
Yeah.
yeah, the teachers just get angry about the stuff about the Department of
yeah, when the
Education. They're
teachers
like,
get angry about things, we should all get angry. We need to look to
Right.
them a little more. Speaking of the people who know how to do
They
the
know.
job, they are the people who know how to do the job. Let's let them do their job.
Yeah. I think there are a lot of overhauls that need to be made in our children's education.
Yeah,
Like other countries are doing it better. Maybe we should take a page out of their books.
a hundred
But
percent.
but
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know that getting rid of the whole Department of Education is a good idea.
I don't think
I'm
so.
not really sure like the reasoning behind all of it.
The only thing I can still think of is that it would put it back into because they want to give vouchers so that you can pick your school. So that means you can get public education to go to a Christian school so that they can teach and indoctrinate even further. So it's still
Great.
putting everything back into the hands of the conservatives. That's why I say they won. Project 2025 is not new. Project 2025 they let us know about because it had already been enacted, so we could go ahead and get prepared. So women, that video we shared at the beginning. That's how to dress in front of your husband because, you are here to serve him. I'll show you the video. It's pretty silly. Okay. Anyways,
Haley's
All
asking.
right.
Haley's asking for me. Okay.
Yeah, and halfway through me like moving all the furniture around and cleaning,
out there, she tried to sit on the couch, and then I got very upset because I was literally moving the couch. She tried to sit on it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I guess I gotta go, Mom, now.
Okay.
But thanks.
Awesome.
And
Well,
sorry for if I had an attitude today. But
you're
love
welcome
you,
to have whatever
Lila.
attitude you want. If you have to apologize for your attitude here, why are we even podcasting? I mean,
No,
really.
I know. That's why you're so good, because you let me just kind of be here, and then you level me too, because you stay a little more central.
Oh, I just
A little
pet
more
her
neutral.
shoulder. I just pet her shoulder in the car. I'm
She
like,
goes, there.
Hey there. Pat, pat, pat.
Yep, that's what she
Yeah.
does. All right. I
That's
love
why you
you.
have good people around you.
Yeah.
Love you, Lilas. Enjoy your week. Good luck with
Lilas.
everything.
Okay.
Good luck with
Yes,
your
does
glasses.
Jesse still edit these?
she does. You want to say
Can you
something
give
to
me
her?
like
She
horns
does.
or something?
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Go for it, Jesse.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you. See ya.
Subscribe up there.
Subscribe.
There's a subscribe up there.
Okay.
Like the button.
Okay.